Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Etienne Buisson, also known as the Oracle. Today I'm going to be this short video about mono red friends in standard and how to sideboard with it. First, I like to just mention that I haven't been so active on YouTube lately. This is mainly because I'm streaming, so if you wanna see me play, if you're interested in the content I'm producing, the best way is to follow me on Twitch. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want more information. The links are down below in the description. I think I still upload a video on YouTube from time to time, but it's not gonna be draft because I just spend a lot of time drafting on live on Twitch, but it's gonna be deck tech and pretty specific content like what we're doing right now. So basically what happened is in the last 3 or 4 weeks I've been playing mono red a lot and I had some pretty good results with it, winning GP Lille and going 8-2 in the standard portion of Pro Tour Guild of Ravnica. And just a lot of people on Twitter asked me for deck tech and mainly some sideboard tips. At first I thought I would write an article, but I was not sure where to put it, where to publish it, so I thought, hey, why don't you do a video? It's been a while, and you know, you still have this YouTube channel and you could just do that on YouTube, so here we are. I'm not gonna mention the deck too much, I'm mostly gonna talk about the sideboard. I'm probably gonna put timestamp in the description or in the comments, so if you're just looking at looking for a specific matchup, you can just look at that. I mean, look for that and just go for whatever timestamp is related to the matchup you're interested in. If you want a broader and deeper analysis of the deck, I highly recommend Frank Karsten article. He wrote an article for channelfireball.com a couple days ago, and article is very good, and especially the tips and tricks section, very good. A lot of things I also wanted to say, but they are said very well here, so this is really I think a very good start for the deck. And here I'm again mostly going to be talking about the sideboard, how I sideboard, and a little bit about my current version of the deck, but not too long. So as you can see, this is the deck. I mean, I'm not going to play the deck a whole lot in the future. I have some tournaments in limited, in modern, but I don't think I'll play standard in the next couple months. But this is the deck I would register if I had to play, I don't know, a PTQ or something soon. As you can see, I'm not playing Phoenixes anymore. I'm playing Lavacal in the main. I just believe Phoenix is not, Rekindling Phoenix is not very well positioned right now. The reason is, best removal in red is Lavacal. Most red deck will play 4 Lavacal between side and main, and it's just a very good answer to Phoenix. Best removal in black is probably Vraska's Contempt. Same thing, most black deck will play 4 between main and sides. And best removal in white is Conclave Tribunal, that's played as a 4-off in most white Winnie deck, and it is again an excellent answer to Phoenix. Moreover, the control deck play Seal Away, and they start to playing Settle the Wreckage again as an edge against the Phoenix deck. I'm talking about the other Phoenix, the Arc-like Phoenix, and also Adento Vanguard. This means that I think Phoenix is currently not very well positioned. It's still a very strong card, but just a lot of removal lines up very well against it. And I don't think it's exactly where you want to be, so I haven't been very impressed with it lately. And even though I still play 2 in my deck at the Pro Tour, I don't think I would play it now. Playing 2 Lavacal, which is just, as I said, excellent removal, very good against black-green, solid against literally everything but control. You want it against the Phoenix deck too, to kill the 4 Toughness Drake. You want it against White Winnie to kill the 4 Toughness Loxodon. It's good against Boros Angel, it's good against Mono Blue because they have Tempest Shield. It's literally good against everything, except, maybe Turbo Fog, Rainbow Leech deck, and Jeskai Control. Even against Jeskai Control, sometimes you can nuke one of their Drake. They often play, a couple of Crackling Drakes, so it's not the worst. But this is the main deck I would go for. As you can see, we have a 13-card sideboard here because there's 2 flexible slots. I'm not sure what I would play in these slots, and you have several options. I think you want the 3 Cannonade, especially with all the White Wing deck that were in top 8 of the last Pro Tour. Really like the fight with fire. I think you can go down to 2, but I used to play 3. I think the third one is definitely an option. I think you want 4 lava coil between the main and side. The card is just excellent. And the Bane Fire are nice against control. Now I've seen this amount of people, and by people I mean, you know, good team and pro players cutting some amount of treasure map from inside. And I'm not sure I like that. They could be right about it, but I feel like when I want the map, I just want the map on turn 2 as much as possible, and I just want the full playset. I think the card is excellent in the games where you want it, and I don't feel like I want to cut any of these. And then on the flex slot, well, you have several options. You can play a third fight with fire. I've played Sorcerer's Spyglass at the Pro Tour as an edge against Planeswalker. I wasn't too impressed with the card, but this could be interesting, needs more testing. You can play Legion Warboss, which I played a little bit with it. I wasn't too impressed, but maybe I should try again. You can play Direfield Daredevil. I'm just not sure against what Daredevil is good exactly. It seems kind of underwhelming to me. So these are some options, but again, I'm not going to talk too much about the deck and the list I'm running, because I'm not really running any list right now, so I'm not playing. It's mainly about how I sideboard. So I'm not going to give you a you know, sideboard on the play, sideboard on the draw for every matchup and be very specific and precise, because what I do mostly in tournament is I change and adapt a lot. There's a lot of cards that you can play in this standard environment within every deck, which means all the deck lists are different. You know, there's different version of black-green, different version of Phoenix deck playing, you know, not the same amount of Drake, not the same, maybe they play Murmuring Mystic and whatnot, different list of Jeskai, a lot of different things. And I think it's important that you are able to adapt to your opponent and not necessarily just follow a spreadsheet of going for the same sideboard each and every time. And it's obviously also play draw dependent, but what I'm gonna try to do is give several setup that I go for, or changes that you can do, and then you can adapt. But again, there's not like, even until the very last match I played at the Pro Tour, I was still adapting and changing the way I sideboard a little bit. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is just, you know, it's good to have an idea of stuff you can do and general cards you want to change. But in general, I at least tend to change a lot the way I sideboard, depending on what they play and also depending on the player. So that's definitely how I do things. Now, onto the sideboard. So for green-black, which was kind of the boogeyman of the format, now I guess people find ways to beat it, but still a very popular deck. So there's a first option, which is cutting the wizard stuff. So you cut all the card that says wizard pre-match, and you bring in most of the sideboards, which is these, and these. I guess a little bit less, especially now that I have some amount of lava in the main. And then if you want to keep 4 cards, I think it's fine leaving the Pyromancer, because they trade with most of their creature, they apply pressure early, and they can help you finish Planeswalker. Like if you go Vivian Reed, blow up Frenzy or Map or something, you can go Pyro, kill the Vivian Reed. It applies pressure on their little Vraska, and I think it's overall a pretty good option. So this is an option, you know, a way you can build your deck when you're playing against green-black. I think it's pretty good. It's the more control-y version. Sometimes that, you know, arguably you could choose to go for on the draw. Now you can go for, you can keep a very aggressive version of the deck, where what I do sometimes is I cut these. I keep all the wizard things, and very often I end up cutting 1 mountain and 1 frenzy, I believe. Maybe, yeah, this is, the thing is, I didn't have exactly the same sideboard, and here we were working with 13 sideboard cards, so again, it depends on the flex slot you have, but I'm just trying to give you some configurations you can go for, and in general, what card I tend to bring out in some matchup and what I like to bring in. Obviously here, if you have the Sorcerer's Spyglass, it's a good, decent thing against black-green, against, you know, for the Planeswalker. It kind of depends. If you have the third Fight with Fire, you probably want to bring it in, and these are the things you want to think about. But yeah, I tend to cut maybe one Frenzy and one land, lower the curve a little bit, and just go very aggressive. Keep the Lava Coils in, so they are good, because they are good in the matchup. But this is you know, a possibility you're gonna go for when you play against black-green. And then, you know, sometimes it kind of depends what they do again. If you see cards like Doom Whisperer and Carnage Tyrant, or you suspect they will keep their big troublesome creature, you might want to go for the aggressive version even on the draw if you feel like your opponent is gonna, you know, have some late game that's gonna beat the Frenzy and Treasure Map plan that usually can outgrind them if they are not prepared. And sometimes you will maybe feel like, you know, I just want to go for the map plan. It really depends on what you see, what they are doing, and I guess also depends on if you want to play on the draw. On the play, the aggro plan is better often, and on draw, the go wide, I mean not go wide, go big map plan is a little bit better. For the blue-red Phoenix and Drake deck, what I usually do is I like keeping all the aggressive creature, the cheap stuff, because it's pretty important that you're faster than them and you pressure them. So one thing you can cut is the Shock if they are not playing Goblin Electromancer. If they are not playing Electromancer, Shock is a pretty bad card. If they are playing Electromancer, you want to keep the Shock in. It really depends. Some lists run the cards, some lists don't. So that's something you can cut or not depending on if they are playing that. I like cutting Trenwheeler just because it's not very efficient. It's 3 mana, they have answers to it in Lava Coil, and I think it's just kind of slow and not exactly where you want to be. So these are the cards I tend to cut. Then bring in more Lava Coil for their 4 toughness creatures, and also some amount of Fight with Fire, because you really need to kill the Drakes, otherwise the Drake are going to kill you. And if they're playing Murmuring Mystic, Fight with Fire is even more important. So here, if I wanted to stay very aggressive, kind of Burny plan, I would probably go with a setup like that against a blue-red Drake. If I know they don't have Electromancer, could also see playing the map sometime. You have to remember that it's still a pretty aggressive deck, and they also have Recursion with Phoenix if you don't have Lava Coils, so they can, you know, go big outgrind plan doesn't necessarily work very well, so I don't always go for that when I'm playing against Phoenix. But yeah, this could be an option. I don't think you want to Banefire. This is not a control deck. Fire Cannon is not good. Again, I think Chainwhirler are not amazing, but they are fine. You can also try something like that if they are not playing Electromancer. This is an option. And yeah, this is the cards I would go for. If you have Legion Warboss in your side, I would not recommend putting it in the deck here, because they have a ton of removal that kill it, like Shock, and they also bring in Fiery Cannonade sometime, and it's really good against the Warboss. So I don't think it's a very good card for this matchup, but definitely max on the number of Lava Coil and Fight with Fire, and yeah, especially if they have Murmuring Mystic somehow. All right. Oops. Back to the main deck. Now, Jeskai Control. Usually Lava Coil is an easy card to cut, and usually I cut Chainwheeler. I've seen some people not cutting Chainwheeler against Control. I think it's just kind of underwhelming. They have a ton of removal. Like, all the creatures you play are going to be answered most of the time, and it is just a little bit. It's just like it deals 1 damage upon entering the battlefield, but it's not a lot of pressure. And it dies to Clarion. Usually if you cast a couple of creatures early and they end up dying to Clarion, you get some damage out of them. Chainwheeler will get 1 damage and then just die for the same mana, so I don't think it's especially good against Control. So definitely the Banefire is an easy one, and then Treasure Map. That's the, you know, kind of baseline way I sideboard against control. Now the question is, are they running Lyra? If they're running Lyra, you might want Fight Freeze Fire. If you see some Crackling Drake, you might want to keep some amount of Lava Curl in. And for these, you can cut Steam Keen. I feel like one of the issues with Steam Keen is that it's just gonna die without doing any damage, and it's unlikely it gets out of hand. They have a lot of removal, so you will often just play it. It's gonna you will want to play more cards, and they will end up having Clarion, and it's just not gonna be very good for you. Whereas Firebrand, Lava Runner, because they are 1-drop, will deal a decent amount of damage, and Pyromancer is gonna deal damage if it resolves no matter what. So the Steam Keen are definitely one of the creatures I'm more likely gonna sideboard out if I'm playing against control. And there's more stuff I want to bring in because I think they have Lyra or things like that, and I want maybe my Curl or Cannonade. All right. A little bit sorry about that. It looks like someone's starting to cutting wood outside. It's 8 in the morning. I don't know why it's happening right now, but sorry if it's a little bit noisy. Against Winnie White, there's been a lot of White Winnie deck in the top 8 of last Pro Tour. This is an excellent matchup for you. Chainwheeler is just amazing, and you have a ton of sideboard. You can bring in pretty much everything in the sideboard but the Banefire and go very controlly. Now, there's a thing, back like 2 weeks ago, the Winnie White deck I was playing against did not have Experimental Frenzy in their sideboard. And it means you would pretty much outgrind them every single game, and it was really like the easiest possible matchup. Now that they also have their Frenzy, there will be a game where they have a Conclave Tribunal for your Frenzy, and you don't have anything for their Frenzy, and they outgrind you. That being said, you have your removal lines up a bit better against their creature than their removal against your creature. Chainwheeler is still a big problem for them, and you have also 4 treasure maps, so I think you're still favorites to outgrind them. But yeah, it's gotten a little bit harder since they are playing Frenzy. So same thing here, usually cut Wizard Lightning, I mean pretty much all the wizard things, and bring in most of the sideboard. You can keep maybe 1 Lava Runner in here. And if you have Legion Warboss, it's good because it's a threat they must answer. And since they have no instant speed removal, it's gonna give you at least 1 Goblin out of the deal. So yeah, we got like maybe Lava Runner. Steam Keen is very good. Lava Runner, maybe 1 Firebrand to bring in my 2 Warboss if I had Warboss in the side. This is a very good matchup, and if people are playing that, you should definitely try to play Mono Red because it works very well against them. Pretty easy sideboard. You don't really want to change if you are on the play or on the draw. I think postboard you always want to have this configuration because it's just so good against them. And you're gonna get to outgrind them most of the time. Now it's possible to keep an aggressive version, I guess, if you're on the play and you're afraid they beat you with their own Frenzy. But I believe this is a matchup where it's totally reasonable to just go for the go big plan all the time and just outgrind them most of the game. All right, on the mirror match, you want to be cutting the 1 toughness creature because it's a huge problem against Chainwheeler. So usually I cut these. Cut some of Wizard Lightning because you cut some Pyromancer so you have less wizards. The card is still pretty good though. Bring in Lava Call, just kill Chainwheeler, kill Phoenix if they have that. It's just good. Bring in the map, and yeah, I guess you have to bring more stuff. You cannot get all of the things. So usually I keep a couple Wizard Lightning, I guess. I'd say if you have Legion Warboss, it's also a fine card to bring in. Direfield Daredevil. Here I guess my sideboard's missing a couple cards, but you would bring in probably your Daredevil, your Legion Warboss. You can keep Firebrand as it can kill their Steam Keen and some other stuff. It's not ideal. The sideboard I have here, I guess, is not very well set up for the mirror. And again, it's a little bit clunky because there's a couple cards like War Boss and Direfleet Daredevil that you might play as your, 14 and 13 card, and that you would bring in. I would not try Cannonade in the mirror, even on draw, because it doesn't kill Firebrand. They will cut someone of their one toughness creature because of Chain Wheeler, and it's just all around. It's just not where you want to be. Oh, I just realized I removed the Lava card completely from the deck. That's why we have so few cards. All right. So yeah, you would have the 2 Lava calls though, and probably, I don't know, cut some amount of, like, probably you're indeed playing Direfleet Daredevil and Warboss or something, and the last 2 cards you would add to the deck would be these cards. I keep removing cards from my deck. Jeez, I need to stop doing that. We'll end up the sideboard deck with 0 cards in the deck. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, 6211. That's the number we started with. All right, so let's put back the calls in here and the map. All right. Boros Angel. Boros Angel can be difficult because they have a lot of threats you need to deal with, and if you don't deal with them, you pretty much die. If people start to play this deck again a lot, you might want the 3rd Fight with Fire. Usually you can outgrind them with the same plan as you go for usually when you go big with the treasure map. I think keeping an aggressive deck against Boros Angel is not ideal because they will have probably 4 Deafening Clarion post board, and they will probably, in most games, they get to hit you with a Lyra at some point or Resplendent Angel, and it's just very difficult deck to burn, so you kind of have to hope you can get them with the go bigger plan. So for this matchup, what I usually do is cutting the wizard stuff again. I think it's a way. It's been a while since I haven't played this matchup. I've seen no one playing the deck in. I didn't play against Boros Angel in Pro Tour, so it's been quite a bit of time. But I would do something like that. If you suspect the Deafening Clarion and they have a lot of removal, there's an argument to just cut the Steamkin. Card is very good when they're light on removal. It's not very good when they have a lot of removal, so you could just go for something like that. And keep some amount of Wizard's Lightning, which kill Resplendent Angel. That's another way to go, maybe a better way to sideboard against Boros Angel. Just because, again, as they do have access to Clarion, it's not very likely Steamkin leave. They have a ton of removal. And keeping Lightning is nice because it kills Resplendent Angel, which I guess I'm not sure they keep post board. Chain Wheeler is still fine because they tend to play Vanguard. It's a tough threat to deal with, a pretty good card all around. And it helps you dealing with History of Menalia because it just blocks the History token very well. So this is probably a way you can go if you're facing Boros Angel. All right, we're getting there. A couple more decks I want to talk about, but soon we'll have done everything, I believe. Mono Blue is a pretty interesting matchup, but basically I think where you want to be is just have a low curve as much removal as you can get. So you would kind of bring in more Lava Call, possibly the Fight with Fire because Tempest Chain can kill you, and if they can somehow stick how it's called, Curious Obsession and Tempest Chain, get up to 5 toughness, this helps you. So I don't think you want to go for the go big plan, super control-y. What I've been doing against the mono blue deck is bringing these cards, and if you're on the draw, I think what I used to do is cut someone of Frenzy, maybe 1 land, and I don't know, maybe I don't play the full play set of Fight with Fire. I think I was doing something like that. where your plan is just to have the highest amount, the low, have a super low curve, so it's more likely that because the blue deck at its core is a tempo deck, so you want a very low curve. They have enough counterspell where casting Frenzy, well, if you resolve it, is nice, but it's kind of difficult. Plays pretty poorly into stuff like Spell Pierce, and you can basically never lose if you kill all they have. And your deck has potential to have a lot of removal post board. So my game plan was just to basically bring all the removal I could, and usually, even though you don't have card advantage, you end up winning because you have slightly higher quality creatures, you have chain wheelers, you're dealing damage with Pyromancer, and you have a ton of removal for the creature when they don't have a ton of removal for your creature. You can try to go for the go big plan against the blue frenzy deck, the mono blue deck, but I don't think I would tend to do that most of the time. Because if you're on the play, you'd just rather be aggressive probably, and if you're on the draw, it's very risky. Like, you will not have time to play treasure map. Like, on turn 2 you want to be killing their turn 1. You don't want to be, or their turn 2 or whatever, or holding a lightning strike in case they have trickster at the end of the turn. You don't want to be trying to treasure map and go big. So yeah, against mono blue I would tend to keep the deck very aggressive and just try to put as many removal as I can in my main deck. And Frenzy, again, I think you can cut some of these. They are difficult to resolve. They don't necessarily win you the game because they can kill you faster sometime. And in general, since your creature are slightly higher quality, if you just kill all the things they have, you're gonna be in a decent spot. A couple people still playing mono green Stompy out there. It's not very popular, but I guess if you face the deck, it's pretty simple. You want to go for the go big plan, bring in all the removal you can, and try to outgrind them. If they resolve a Galtai, you're dead, but usually you can just kill all the things they will ever play, and they will never get up to Galtai mana. You have Chain Wheeler against their Llanowar Elves and whatnot. So I think I would, you know, bring in all of these things, cut some of Wizard's Lightning, definitely cut the Lava Runners here, probably I'd say the Lava Runner and Wizard's Lightning, or maybe you keep in 2 Wizard's Lightning and you get 2 Pyromancer, but just get more removal and outgrind them, play the control deck basically. Okay, that was for mono green Stompy. I hope I did not forget any deck. If you're facing Turbo Fog, I faced Turbo Fog at the Pro Tour. Pretty easy. You want to be aggressive. You're not gonna outgrind them, so I don't think Frenzy is amazing. But you don't have anything better really. Like, if you have stuff like Mentor, how it's called, the 2/2 Mentor Goblin I was talking about before, Legion Warboss, you might want to bring that in, but otherwise just, you know, cut the Lava Call, bring in Banefire. You know, you have a good matchup against them. You don't have to change match. And pretty much the same thing for Rainbow Leech. If you're facing that deck, just try to burn them, be fast. The Turbo Fog and Rainbow Leech have pretty much the best late game in the entire metagame, so these are not really matchup where you want to go being big or even bother to bring in a map. You just want to burn them basically and have the most damage you can, because if the game goes long, you're gonna lose. You're not gonna outgrind one of these decks with maps or Frenzy. You can cut someone off Frenzy if you have, again, stuff like Warboss that you want to bring in, but don't try to go big against them. So I think that was it. Talk about most deck. Hope this video was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, you can ask them on Twitter. Feel free to follow me there if you want more information about what I do. You can just ask them live when I'm streaming on Twitch. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon, hopefully, for, you know, some live draft on Twitch or whatever. Thanks a lot for watching.